All right, guys, welcome to Module 4, Nutrition SOPs. Guys, this is going to be a very important module, right? How you train matters. How you eat matters equally, if not more, for the visceral changes in the results and how you look and how you build muscle, right? And you can see here, this took me between this picture and that, it was like 5-6 years or so. And that's how long it took me to really dial in my nutrition, right? Before, you can see high inflammation, low testosterone, low bone mass density, processed foods, no nutrient diversity, soft foods, and poor gut health. Guys, I was eating like processed food. I was eating terrible, super picky eater. Compare that to after low inflammation, high testosterone, high bone mass density, real whole foods, high nutrient density plus diversity, and tough foods. We'll talk about that later too. And then improved gut health. Guys, you can see the difference in how what you eat changes how you look, right? And we can go down here too. So this is, you can see it's not an exhaustive list, guys, but I want to really touch on especially the staples. The staples, look guys, listen, whenever you want to reach the peak, whenever you guys want to reach the top of, your physique, your performance, your vitality, the options get smaller and smaller and smaller, right? You guys have to have something like this in your diet if you want to put on lean muscle, if you guys want to lose fat, if you guys want to have your hormones optimized. And you can see here we have steak, chicken, eggs, lamb, fish, right? These are all protein packed. They're loaded with vitamins and minerals. They have good cholesterol and fat, right? And when combined with training equals high testosterone and DHT production. Guys, good cholesterol, in fact, cholesterol is literally the building block to your steroid hormones like testosterone, which leads to DHT, right? And these are protein packed and loaded with vitamins and minerals to help facilitate that process along the way. Steak, I want to touch on steak and like the meats and stuff. This will also help, side note, like your actual facial and jaw structure. Something that was, lagging for me was like I had a recessed jawline. And so if you guys are struggling with that as well, eating tough foods like steak or nuts will help train your jawline with proper chewing, right? Making sure that you're chewing your food and swallowing properly will make a huge difference over time. And for some of you guys too, we'll go into this later, but these will change as far as like whole milk compared to non-fat 2% milk, but we'll go into that later. We can see here the protein accessories, good for snacks and sides. They're time efficient. Guys, everyone knows the non-fat Greek yogurt. Make sure that's plain, no added sugar. Cheese, raw whole cheese, very good as an accessory on top of your meals. It's actually very high in protein. You have beans and you have milk. These are just great accessories to go on top of the staples that we have up above. These are also, high protein, loaded with vitamins and minerals, all those good things. Carbs. I want to touch on carbs very briefly. Not briefly, but just to hammer in a particular point. When you go to the grocery store, for your carbs, you should be prioritizing the one ingredient, simple and clean sources, right? The going into the middle aisle and getting like the loaf of bread that might seem healthy, it says like reduce fat or, whatever marketing tactic that they use, and you look at it and it has like 15 million ingredients on the back. Guys, I'm telling you, once you make this transition to simple one ingredient foods, carbs like white rice or potatoes, fruit like dates, bananas, kiwis, honey, things like that, where it's just one ingredient and they're clean, where, they don't have an opportunity to be polluted with all these other processed junk. Your body, your metabolism, it will pick up. Your body will recognize these foods. It will be easier to digest. Your inflammation will go down. All these good things. And I'm telling you, you will be better served in the long run. I know it's convenient buying, other forms, other snack, but trust me on this. One ingredient, simple and clean. Structure these around your workouts, limit at night. Guys, your muscles need glycogen before to fuel the workouts and then after to facilitate muscle growth. Make sure that you structure your carbs around your workouts and then limit at night. You don't really need carbs, later in the day. Now that's not to say you don't need any. Don't take that to the extreme, but just recognize that you should be structuring them primarily around your workouts. Fats and veggies, avocados for more healthy fats, hormonal health. Like I said, your hormones to produce good hormones, optimal and balance them, you need good healthy fat. Cruciferous vegetables plus leafy greens. I'm not, completely oh, you have to eat carnivore diet and vegetables are bad. No, I believe that, if you can hunt it, if you can grow it, it's good. You can eat it. So yeah, vegetables plus leafy greens, those will always be a good addition into your diet. As far as, broccoli, spinach, and that's not to say that you can't have things like peppers and onions and tomatoes too. Those are all very good. I know I didn't include these on the list, but whenever you're making your recipe, whenever you're doing your meal prep, you can for sure 100% include those things in there. The point that I'm trying to drive home is that, if it didn't exist 200 years ago, don't eat it, right? All this man-made junk will only hinder you. Now, obviously, there's a time and a place for everything, I think. In some cases, like for instance, a Fairlife protein shake, right? If you're in a pinch and you need your protein, by all means, go get one of those, right? Go crush one of those. I drink those sometimes. But, I would say to follow the 90-10 rule, where it's 90% of your diet should be coming from whole food sources. So with that being said, not an exhaustive list. Take this, use this as a guide. Also, like I said too, some of you guys are in a calorie surplus, some of you guys are in a calorie deficit. So things like eggs or Greek yogurt or milk, like for instance, you might be having eggs and egg whites, or you might just be having eggs, or it might be, non-fat plain Greek yogurt, or you might have some fat in there, some whole milk sources of fat. Like I said, with the milk, it might be whole milk, it might be 2%, depending on your caloric needs and your goals. So just make sure you're cognizant of that and talk to me if you have any questions on that as well. With that being said, that is module 4, Nutrition SOPs. I will see you in the next module.